So hello, I'm here with Diana, who is the head of design at GitHub. And thanks a lot for taking the time. I really loved your talk, by the way. So it was nice hearing you talk about design engineering. And actually, my question is kind of related to that talk. I remember you mentioned the designs that were sometimes difficult because you had like performance implications during the implementations, like the GitHub Universe website, where you mentioned that it was kind of sometimes tricky to implement something that was both nice looking and also high performance. I was kind of curious, how at GitHub do you manage those kinds of things, or how do you make sure that a design is both nice looking but also can scale and has a good performance?
Yeah, I mean, I think the people on my team are more well equipped to get into the nitty gritty details there, but I think we have metrics that guide us, so that we know that if it's going to take like too long to load, it's not just like we can do it by measurements as well as actually testing the page and sort of scrolling through it and seeing how something feels. And so I'm not gonna be okay with us shipping something if it takes ages to load, if it's got like bad rendering happening, if it feels obviously like scroll jank is like the worst sort of situation to get. And so, then what I want to know from the team is like, what is possible? Like we've got this desire to do this particular type of animation, which for those watching, like checking out the GitHub Universe website is one of those examples. And so it's a matter of there were some initial issues with that we went back and forth on, and so it's a matter of finding that sort of sweet spot that still looks and feels great, but it also feels great because it's performant. And so to me, it's just like part of the constraints of front-end development. You've got how it looks, is it on brand, what's possible with the technology, and how to make sure that it's performant. We also have like other things like internal tooling that will flag with us if there's like if there's degradation on parts of the product, and then otherwise it's about just design engineers spending the time digging into the networks tab, and even actually there's been some cases where we've used AI to we have a lot of graphics, so even if something isn't animated, like getting that like SVG file down to like the smallest like amount of parts and lines of code as possible is like also something where on a couple of projects they've actually used AI tooling to get that really reduced down. And so I also think it's like about making sure you have a culture where you're like, this is really important. And it's not good enough if it's not fast as well and feels good as well as looks good. To me, you can't have. It's not okay to have one without the other.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering, is maybe being a design engineer in this case a unique advantage here? Because as a design engineer, you may know both sides: the sides of what is maybe a good performance in terms of a design, and also what kind of designs would work well. I feel like that may be a unique place where a design engineer may be especially suitable.
Yeah, I think the main advantage that you have is that if you are someone that understands taste and how to create good designs as well as how to actually implement it and it work well, be functional and look good and feel good and be performant, you have a faster feedback loop. And that's something I talked about a bit in the talk is what I mean by that is you can make a change to the design or to the code and quickly see the results of that. Exactly. And because you have both those skill sets, you can make a judgment call on whether that's getting you closer to the right result is good enough or not. Mm-hmm. So, a front-end engineer that's, much more seated in JavaScript worlds that can't create designs or whatever, they might feel uncomfortable about making that call and saying, this feels good, this is good enough. Whereas a design engineer that holds both disciplines, and I mean that, I don't just mean like they're a designer that has some technical skills. They're good enough to implement code on production and it ship and not mess the site up, right? Mm-hmm. So I think, that's the advantage they have, is that they can quickly see if the changes are creating a good experience overall, because they've just got that fast feedback loop as they're making changes.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so thanks a lot for your time. And I really recommend you all to watch her talk as soon as it comes out.
Thank you too. Yeah, thanks for coming to watch the talk.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye.